In a 1969 interview with Rolling Stone's Jerry Hopkins, Jim Morrison recalled an experience from his childhood.
Me and my mother and father...
He said his family had been driving through the desert when they came upon a car accident.
Either hit another car...
Morrison was quoted as saying, "The souls or ghosts were just running around, freaking out, and just leaped into my soul, and they're still in there." This experience would continue to inform Morrison's artistic identity for the rest of his life. Mysticism, death, and the unconscious would become a major piece of the narrative that he crafted and characterize the mystery that still surrounds him today. Rebel, performer, poet, musician, provocateur. Jim Morrison and the Doors brought something distinct to 1960s psychedelic rock and roll, combining Morrison's angst and artistry, supported by Ray Manzarek's organ-driven sound. It was all underscored by brooding theatrics and a hint of madness, resulting in music that was unsettling, magnetic, and unforgettable. Jim Morrison was born in Melbourne, Florida, in December of 1943 to Clara and Rear Admiral George Stephen Morrison. Growing up, Jim had two younger siblings and excelled in school, preferring to read, write, and draw. Jim's father served in the United States Navy, resulting in the Morrisons regularly moving throughout Jim's childhood. He attended school in California, Texas, New Mexico, and Virginia, where he graduated from high school. After high school, Jim ultimately moved to Los Angeles, where he graduated from UCLA's film school in 1965. Following graduation, Morrison bumps into former UCLA classmate Ray Manzarek on the beach. After Morrison shares some of his recent poetry, Manzarek suggests they start a band. Manzarek and Morrison are joined by drummer John Densmore and guitarist Robbie Krieger. They name themselves The Doors as a reference to the writings of Aldous Huxley and William Blake. For the next couple of years, The Doors would play numerous shows until landing consistent billing at the London Fog and the Whiskey A Go-Go. In late summer of 1966, Jack Holzman, the founder of Elektra Records, sees and signs The Doors. Shortly after, they recorded their first album, released early 1967. The album embodies their signature artistic sensibilities, ranging from cabaret to blues to rock to poetry. The album is a major success and peaks at number 2. The song Light My Fire hits number 1 and stays there for 3 weeks. Jim Morrison and The Doors are officially a hit rock band. The Doors' first big tour begins. They play sold-out shows in cities all across the United States: San Francisco, Las Vegas, and New York, where they appear on The Ed Sullivan Show. That same year, they released a follow-up album. In total, The Doors would produce 6 albums in just 4 years. But by the middle of 1968, it was all starting to take its toll. Morrison's heavy drinking was ever present, and he grew increasingly unpredictable. Often absent from recording sessions or showing up hours late, on stage his unpredictability persisted. During this time, Morrison was arrested on 4 different occasions between 1967 and 1970, nearly every incident involving public intoxication or disorderly behavior. In November 1969, the Doors were back in the studio, and Jim Morrison had sunk into a deep depression. The United States seemed to be in a total freefall.
Dr. Martin Luther King has been shot to death.
Senator Kennedy has been shot. Just please stay back.
Charles Manson himself.
And Jim Morrison was facing charges for indecent exposure, which could potentially result in 10 years of imprisonment.
Like I say, it was completely uncalled for in all parts.
Blood on the rise is following me.
Blood in the Streets sounded grim, but seemed to capture the general mood of the time. The chaos of the peace-love 60s were coming to an end.
I've seen the promised land.
Robert Kennedy was shot.
Fired its weapons indiscriminately. Mike Kappas, CBS News, at Kent, Ohio.
The Doors' final concert occurred on December 12, 1970 in New Orleans, Louisiana. But the New Orleans performance was a disaster, and afterwards John, Ray, and Robbie all agreed it was time to take a break from performing live. Over the next 2 months, the Doors would complete their 6th and final album, LA Woman. There was no question the Doors were back. Many fans saw it as a return to form. Raw, bluesy, dark, and mysterious. Classic Jim Morrison and the Doors. But with the band still refusing to tour, Jim Morrison decided to move to Paris in March of 1971. In Paris, Morrison had hoped to escape the weight of fame and his mounting legal troubles that followed him in the United States. Just 4 months later, on July 3, 1971, Jim Morrison was found dead in his bathtub. Jim Morrison and the Doors would never perform again. It's been decades since their last performance, but Jim Morrison and the Doors remain a lasting presence on music and culture. Their influence can be heard in artists ranging from Iggy Pop to Ian Curtis. Jim Morrison's work drew on Baudelaire, Rimbaud, the Beatniks, and Artaud's Theater of Cruelty, pushing rock music into unexpected territory. The Doors were never just a band. They were an experiment in how far music, performance, and language could go. That experiment never ended. It's still existing to this day after all these years.